Hi boys and girls, we are going to be painting a firework landscape with Art Club today, so if you were unable to join us and you'd still like to do it, you can watch this videos and follow along with the steps. So what you're going to start with first is a horizon line in the middle of your page with pencil, and then I just made these little lines to help with the framing of our picture. I am going to take my brush, and when we are using acrylic, we thin out with water, and I'm going to start with black, and I'm going to paint in these framed areas with just some black paint. Right now I'm only going to do the ones at the top because we will go back to the bottom later. Okay, the next color I'm going to use in my sky is going to be purple. So I'm going to wash off my brush, and my water, and dry off my brush, and now I'm going to grab my purple and start painting next to the black so that they kind of overlap. We want them to overlap each other with my purple. And go all along the side here of my paper. Remember, water helps us thin down if you're using acrylic paint, so I can make it a little bit thinner so it's not too thick. And we're going to just kind of paint a little bit across here with our our purple, before we get into the reds and pinks of our sky. So just like that should be good. Next, I'm going to make like a pink magenta color. So I'm going to take my red color, add a dot of purple into it, and now I'm going to use this color under my purple sky. It's red with a little bit of purple in it. And if you actually have a magenta, you can just use the magenta tube instead of doing what I'm doing right now, instead of mixing that color like I did. Okay, now I'm going to make pink. So for pink, I'm going to take red, add white to it, mix those together, and keep adding white until I'm happy with the color that I got. Add water to thin it out. And then I'm just going to add even more white to make a really light, very, very light pinkish color at the horizon line, which is our halfway mark. And we want it to kind of blend in with the pink a little bit here. So your sky should look something like this right now. So it kind of looks like the sun is setting. There's a glow so that we can be ready for fireworks. Okay. Next up. We are going to draw the outline of our building. So I'm going to use black again. Wash off my brush. I might use a small brush for this, but I am going to just make some building shapes. Just the outline of them right now. I'm going to continue to add to these buildings. You can give them kind of like different shapes if you want to. But we're kind of making skyscraper-ish looking buildings, tall ones, to go with our city here. All the way across our page. Now I'm going to fill in each of these buildings with just black paint because we are going to make there be windows and stuff later. So right now we're just going to fill this all in so it makes a silhouette or a shadow. And I'm making it go to that horizon line, that line that we drew with our pencil in the beginning. Like that. Okay, now we're going to start working on our bottom half here. So we're going to let that dry for a little while. So I'm going to move my paper so I can get to the edges nicely. We're going to do the opposite. So we're going to start with that magenta color. So red with a little bit of purple in it. And I'm going to paint it right underneath my city, just a little bit underneath the city. Add a little bit of white into mine to make it a little bit brighter. Just like that. Then I move in directly to purple, so we're not going to do the pink this time. color with some purple, and then that's going to fade into some blue. Because this is water, so we're going to make it look like water. And then from there, move into black. So that the black again will frame our picture. And we fill the whole outside edge with the black. So we have that kind of framing, just like we have it framing the top. So this is what it should look like this part. Okay. Now we've let the top dry long enough so we can go in and add details in our buildings, and we can add fireworks. So first let's start with our building. So I'm going to take another brush and get some yellow and white because we're going to make it look like the buildings have some lights on. And to do this, we're just going to make some little squares in the buildings. So like not too many, just a few. Just make it look like the lights are on in the building. If the yellow in your buildings doesn't show up that good, then you could always do white too. I'm also going to take white and I'm going to kind of like make some dots in the sky, almost like stars up here. So I'm just adding a few scattered across our sky for our stars. Like so. Okay, so now we have some buildings with some windows. Now we have some stars in the sky. All right, now we're ready to move into adding our fireworks. So to make a firework, I'm going to start with a white and I'm going to make some lines in the sky that look like they're coming from the same point, like that. I'm also going to add a little bit in between them. There's one. Now I'm going to switch and use a color. So now every time we do a color with this, we're going to want to use a lot of white to help us make it really pop out and look like a firework, because the light is really bright in a firework. So I did some blue and I mixed it with white. And I'm going to add it over here. And the fireworks can be different sizes and different shapes because they are all a little bit different. There's 2 fireworks. This one I'm going to make like it just fired, so it's going to have a little streak coming down from it like it was just taking off. Alright, I'm going to do a yellow one, so I'm going to mix yellow with white to make a really light looking yellow color so it looks like a really lit up firework. And I'm going to do one more right over here. This one's going to look like it already, like maybe it's almost done being a firework. Okay, so I have my fireworks in my sky. And now we're going to be working on the reflection part, and this is going to be our water. So first we're going to make the buildings in the water. So we're going to take some black paint and we're going to start underneath the building, and we're just going to make some streaks to represent that there's a building reflected in this water. We don't have to make an actual square the same shape. I'm just making brush strokes that show that there's a reflection in that water. We do want to make sure that like we represent all the buildings so we get like close to all of them, but we don't need to have them be the same shape or size. They just have to be some streaks in the water. Just like that. Okay, so far this is our picture. We're going to complete our reflection part. We're going to make the firework part in the water. And first we are actually going to make like the lights, our lights from the building. So we're going to add white and yellow together. And just like where there's some yellow, you just kind of like do a couple little streaks like, oh, the lights are shining in there, but we don't see them all. Okay, now for the fireworks, we're going to mix our color with white that we use. So like I have blue with white, and I'm going to make it look like it's underneath this one. So I know that this is blue, so I'm going to add a little bit of a little stream of color down there from where the blue firework took off. I'm going to do the same thing for my white fireworks, just to show that they would give some reflection here in the water, but like not actually showing all the fireworks because we don't need to do that. And then we could also put a couple of the dots for the stars. Just like this. And there you have it, your firework city for the 4th of July and for summer. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson and that if you do it, you send me a picture so that I can see the beautiful work that you do. Have a wonderful summer, everybody.